Oh, no. Oh, you guys, the activity is already starting. Can you see the orb going up and down by Adrian? Hey, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Look at it. It's going up and down over her left shoulders.
What you hear is not a go. What you hear is Shay's computer. Yep, there it is. He keeps coming in and out.
Me?
Who are you?
Is that me?
Who are you? No,
So-
the ghost that keeps coming in and out.
No,
Yeah,
no. Okay.
So I was pulling cards on it. It's definitely somebody that's crossed over this deceased that you've known from a long time ago.
Yes. Very interesting.
Getting a reading right. Y'all see that orb going up and down, up and down. It's been doing it for about 4 minutes now, like crazy.
Back and forth.
He's watching. He's
Waiting for something.
yeah.
He wants me to talk about him.
It's
But who are you?
definitely a man.
Who are you?
He planned on being here tonight. He's got. What do you want to say?
Oh, Jen. Can you the next question, is it Featherhook? Tell me if you get a yes, one of your yes cards.
He's sharing on the questions.
Hi.
He's got inside information he wants to share, from a different perspective here with the hangman.
Mhm.
He's like an inside man, like I'm a spirit. I want to be in on the questioning.
I think it's Dinka. I think it's Dinka. What do you have to talk about? What do you have to talk about tonight?
He's talking about protecting yourself from COVID and that things are getting ready to change with COVID. So, continuing to protect yourself from COVID, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, because he died from very severe pulmonary issues. Yeah. He suffocated.
Aw.
He's talking about how Biden has victory over COVID. Working together in the White House to get victory over COVID. So I think he wanted to share that there's a lot of people on the other side. His death was pretty sudden.
It was. Yep. It's Featherhook. I know who it is.
Did it happen when he was traveling?
Yep. He went on a pill. So this is my Featherhook. There's a very long story. I have a family cousin that for some reason I was just always drawn to. His name was Dinka. Deeply spiritual, just the most beautiful human being. Long dreadlocks. His locks were like way down his back. Thank you, me, myself, and I for the super chat. He had an illness, got a little bit better, and decided to do a pilgrimage in Peru. And we were very concerned about him going because he had just, I think he had lung cancer or a form of some very severe bronchial issues. And we were like, Dinka, are you sure you're going to be able to go to Peru? Because the elevation is very high. And he had worked so long to go on this pilgrimage. Goes on the pilgrimage and he dies in Peru.
Yeah, so it was like sudden while he was traveling. Yeah. He felt like he had unfinished work, and I feel like he got earthbound for a little bit before he moved on into the light. Something was kind of bullying him a little bit, or he was bullying himself a little bit. He's a messenger. He shares information from the other side. Big yes on that.
His contract, we worked through this, was that I was very devastated when he died. I was in high school when he died. And I remember years later working through, and I was doing part of my shamanic trainings, just identifying your guides. And I realized, when I realized he was one of mine, I fucking lost it. Like ugly snot cry, because I had always just felt very connected to him. Because I remember part of it, I heard the name Featherhook. I'm like, who the hell is Featherhook? Who's Featherhook? And then pieces of the puzzle months later came back and realized that Featherhook is Dinka, and that is his spirit name. And so that makes, because he keeps laughing, and I'm seeing him. He keeps telling me, "You need to laugh. Stop being so serious right now. Laugh, Adrian. Laugh."
He's also talking about a problem with a foreign leader that's been doing sneaky stuff, and messing with our security here. He's talking about that he is getting burdened right now with his contract. So, is this Putin you're talking about?
Thank you so much, Judy, for the super chat. Sorry, this was a bit. This is not planned, guys. This is just.
He's talking about we're going to be hearing about a new action that's going to be taken against a foreign leader. So watch for that. It's going to be kind of surprising.
Yeah. Interesting.
So, hey, Becca.
Well, welcome to Ghost Stories Part 3, everyone. Hello.
Starting out, if you're just now joining us, we're going back and forth, up and down Adrian's left side.
Yes. Hi. It's just like, who the hell is in my house? This is what happens when 3 psychic mediums come together. So thank you so much, Sunflower Shanty, for the super chat. Before we started, Johnny and Asia, thank you both for the super chat. I appreciate it. We are down a ghost hunter. We are missing the original GH ghost hunter / Ghostbuster, Susan Lynn. She had something come up at the last minute. So she sends us her prayers and love, and she will be, if we do a part 4, she will be back with us. But we also have, okay, I'm going to do this right this time. Oh,
went the other way.
Y'all know who I'm talking about. We've got Shay from Blissful Divination. Those guys who have not checked out Shay, she does amazing reading. She is also another psychic medium. Just cuss, I didn't mean to do that. Flippin' fantastic. And then you guys know we've got the original OG down here, Jenn, Lynn, Tarot.
Hey, everybody.
We
were just getting all excited because it orbs before we even started. So
yeah, this was not on the agenda.
I had to get in here so you guys could see it going up and down because it was doing it. Just that was fun. I love that.
Super thrown off. I was like, okay, why are you showing yourself? Who is this, and why are you showing yourself now? And what's going on? And okay,
he had a message to deliver, and now he's gotten quiet.
Yep. Wow. Okay. My brain is like,
not the way we intended to start, right?
I had intended to have a proper introduction in starting, but this got okay. Pulling it back now. So, Ghost Stories Part 3. What are we going to be doing tonight? You guys know we love telling just experiences that we've had. There's so many that I have had that I actually forget about them until I'm talking about something. I'm like, oh, I remember that one time that I did so and so and so. I know both of these two amazing ladies have great. I'm going to do this right this time.
You still did it wrong. Point the other way.
I am pointing there.
There you go. There you go. Everything's mirrored in the StreamYard.
I'm also the person who like, look over there. I'm like, you can be pointing here, and I'm like, where?
Your other right.
Both of these ladies have great stories. So we're going to start it off with just informal interview style, talking about both of them and their experiences as psychic mediums. We're also, if you have questions, either hold on to them or you can, I'll let you know. We're going to have a Q&A session towards the end. We've got other topics too we wanted to bring up. This is going to be both entertainment and infotainment at the same time. So let's start this off. Shay, introduce yourself. Who are you? When did you learn you had gifts? How do you use your gifts, etc., etc.?
My name is Shay, and I am the creator behind Blissful Divination. I started having experiences when I was younger, and it really started off like with dreams. They would come, well, from what my knowledge is, it would come from dreams. When I was younger, my mom would say that I was talking. She would always hear me talking to people. And like she said that I had so many imaginary friends, and she would just tell people I was talking to myself but I wasn't talking to myself. I was talking to people. She never heard me speaking and answering myself kind of thing. So, and then it would come in dreams, and people that died had started coming to me in my dreams. and I was very scared of it. You know, I didn't know exactly what was happening. My mom, she was kind of she had gifts that later I found that my mom had gifts, so she would suppress them. So anything that was coming on with me would just frighten her. So I spent a lot of time with my grandmother, and she was the one that made me feel like everything was normal and everything was okay. So I would have dreams and stuff, and they would give me messages, and then they would leave me alone. Then as I got older, it would get worse. And it would seem to me like when I was in multi-dwelling buildings, it would be worse than it would be like if I was in a regular house. In a regular house, it would be kind of more manageable because it would feel like they would just come in my dreams and I wasn't even getting any sleep. So it started becoming like I was afraid to go to sleep for a long time. Like that was like 18 years old, 19 years old. And you would think people be like, well, why do you got to sleep with the lights on? Or why do you have to, what's your thing with sleep? And I'm just like, the nighttime has always been it's like a where you have to prepare for, you know what I mean? Like this, it's time to get the battle on at night. You know, there's a battle that goes on or something. That's what it would feel like. It was a fight. Like I was like the Hunger Games or something at night. And I used to didn't want to go to sleep. And then I had this one experience where one of my guys came to me and showed me what dying was like. And she was like, it was like slipping off. You ever go through mud or rain or something and be so inundated with that wet, disgusting feeling? And when you take those clothes off and they fall to the floor, it's like that freeing feeling or whatever. It felt like dropping dirty clothes. And it was the most peaceful. And you would think that it was like, you would think about all these people and all these things. I thought of no one, nothing except, oh, I want that feeling again. Like, oh, yeah, I want to, you know, and then I had to put them back on and they were heavy and disgusting, like putting back on muddy, cold clothes. So at that point, I wasn't scared to go to sleep anymore. And it lasted with me for a very long time. And then it got stronger. Like it seemed like every decade it would get stronger until they were giving me messages all the time. And I didn't know how to block it out because during that time I was going through my Christian-y phase of life. And so they don't teach you about shielding and all that kind of stuff like that, right? So, I mean, I'm getting beat up, bam, bam, and losing friends because people are thinking I'm losing my mind because at 1 o'clock in the morning or 2:30 or whatever, I got to call and give them a message or I'm not going to get any sleep. So I would just call them, tell them a cryptic message and go back to sleep. And people be like, but if I didn't, they would bother me for so much for the rest of the night until I passed on along a message. And I didn't know about boundaries and stuff. So I've had experiences going on and on. I've never labeled it. I just kind of accepted it as is and kind of just try to move and live normally, even though you don't feel normal kind of thing. Sorry about that long book, but it's...
No, that's beautiful. I loved it. And there's something that you mentioned that I know we're going to come back to later, which is also the difference of being in a multi-dwelling area versus a private home and how much interference, especially as an empath, a psychic medium, I don't care where you are on that spectrum, that's a lot to deal with. And it's a lot. And people don't realize that there's also another form of shielding and protection you may need to add when you have a multi-dwelling unit. So we'll definitely going to talk about that later on when we do tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Tips and tricks for haints, ghouls, and hobgoblins. Jen, tell us about yourself. I know we know you. We see you every Sunday and all the time, but we don't ever get to really hear more about your psychic medium and your experiences and how you came to this and how you knew your psychic medium.
I did a video, I want to say like a year and a half ago, sharing ghost stories. That was a lot of fun. And it was like one of my most viewed videos. And everybody's like, you got to get back on and do ghost stories again. I'm like, I'm so glad that you started doing this, Adrienne, because it's something like the more you talk about it, the less you are afraid of it. Exactly. And that's the bottom line. You know, as a child, I can remember, you know, climbing tall trees and swaying in the wind in the top and singing with the angels. Like I was always aware of angels around me. I was the youngest of 4 kids and I was a tag along. Like anywhere my older siblings went, I'm right there with them. I don't care how little I was. I'm right there with them in the thick of it. And we had up behind our neighborhood in a field, we had an old dilapidated house that was haunted. And my siblings were always like, ooh, you know, it's a haunted house and stuff. I was never afraid. You take me to a horror movie or a haunted house for Halloween, I am like petrified. Like I'm going to scream like a little girl all the time. But I was never really afraid of spirit. And as I got older and opened up more to mediumship and everything, it just got more and more pronounced. And I've always like carried a strong boundary with me. I've always been intrigued by ghost hunting shows. I think some of them are really good, and some of them are just like either fake or ramping it up for views and stuff. So I love to go to haunted places. I love to help people if they've got a haunting in their house. I love to help them understand the difference between a loved one that's visiting them versus an earthbound ghost, that kind of energy, and all different types of hauntings and stuff. It's fun to me. I love it.
I feel definitely if you're drawn to it, there's a reason why. I always put it that way. That's just not, most normal people are not like, oh, I'm going to go play around with ghosts or even entertain that. It's like, if you're called to it, there could be a reason why. What do you ladies think?
My first house I bought in Long Island had a ghost in it, and she was not earthbound or anything, but I had a funny situation that came up, and I called one of my friends who's a reader, has read for 40 or 50 years, and I was like, I've got a ghost, and she goes, girl, you are crazy. Everybody calls me if they've got a ghost and they're like, I've got a ghost, I've got to move, I've got to get out of here, I got to get the house blessed, and you're like, I've got a ghost. It's like, I love it.
What do you think, Shay? If you're
the scariest person, okay, because I know some stuff is real and some stuff is fake, it's the ones that got just enough truth in it. Like Final Destination, I cannot drive behind, I can't watch stuff like that. I can't drive behind a truck now. It can't have no poles, no logs. I know it's stupid, death's going to have its due kind of thing. But no, some of that other stuff in there is a little bit, it have a kernel. So I'll be like, no, this is too freaky. I don't watch any of that stuff. I'm drawn to the paranormal shows, even though I don't want to watch it. I don't know why I'm watching it, but I can't not watch it. It's weird, right? So I was like, okay, girl, we're only watching this in the daytime. We don't watch this past 5 o'clock in the afternoon. No. We got to have a mind bleach before bed because we're not dragging any of this. But I feel like it's, if you're drawn to it, I think you have to, I'm opening up myself little by little because it was so strong when I was a young child that now I'm trying to gauge it. I'm newly to the point of, okay, I'm going to talk about it out loud, right? I don't care about, people thinking I'm weird, or people are not having friends about it, because whenever I'm around, stuff happens to other people, right? So they don't want you around too much because you're scaring the crap out of them. And I'm laughing now because I'm at that age where it was, but before it used to just hurt so much because I'm like, well, I got to be by myself all the time. Like, why can't I find people that's like me or people that's willing to talk about it? And so they're just now revealing to me. I'm opening myself up to being able to reveal what I'm supposed to do. And I do know that I'm a bridge, and my family line are bridges. And what we do is cross people over to summon a bridge. We have 1 foot on this side and 1 foot on that side. And basically, we help people that want to cross over can cross over. And so I'm just now becoming okay with that, right? Because it was so scary to me. I just didn't understand it. And I didn't realize how much energy it took. I had one of my teachers, and she does liminal work a lot of times. And she was telling me how you got to have using breath work and all this stuff to summon the bridge or whatever, and hold it open, how you can hold it open long term, because it's draining. Right now, I'd be like, I tell them, look, you got about 3 to 5 seconds. You gonna go, you better go. Because for me, it's tiring. It's such an energy drain. And I'm testing things out. I don't have a book. I don't have any kind of manual. It's kind of like them telling me stuff and me feeling or knowing or trying it out and seeing that it works and what doesn't work, kind of thing. But shielding, child, that's all I do. I just keep it, girl, this place, I got like the cube, all that stuff.
What I think is interesting between the three of us is we've got 3 levels of experience, because you've got Jenn, and she said this multiple times, she started doing this work very early on when she was 18, 19, right, Jenn?
Yeah, I started reading tarot when I was 19. First psychic I saw when I was 19 told me I was a healer, and I was like, I didn't know what to do with that. But as I healed myself from my traumatic childhood experience, my family, it was quite abusive. As I healed in my 20s and then my late 20s, I started opening up, spiritually and discovering what it meant to be a healer and what it meant, when I realized I could hear my guides, it's like, well, can I hear dead people? And start tuning in. Yeah, I can hear dead people. So, getting that, and it just came together more. But I've lived in so many haunted houses. I'm drawn to them, I guess. Like every house that I've moved to has a spirit in it, and it's almost, I call it the one.
Oh, you froze, Jen.
Feels good and positive. It does not bother me. I just gravitate that way.
I was gonna say, between the three of us in our experience, because you've got Jen, who's done this for a while, me, who was forced into it. I was bludgeoned over the head. I didn't really have a choice early on and having to deal with it. And Shay, who's embracing it. I love that you used you're embracing it now. Between the three, Jen, what would be your piece of advice from your experience? I will give my piece of advice from kind of the middle person. And then Shay, as you're working through embracing this, and you're kind of, I'm not going to say early on, but you're still like, okay, I'm part of the Justice League and I'm accepting it. Give your piece of advice to anybody who thinks they may even teeter. Like, I think I may be able to hear dead people, but I'm not quite sure. Like, so Jen, let's start with you.
Boundaries are very important. To me, like your own personal protection is something that you carry within you so strongly. Like when I was younger, I would say only spirits of love, mercy, compassion, and healing are allowed to connect to me. Now I don't even have to say that because I carry that intention so strong right here in my heart chakra that it's just a given. I walk in a room, don't mess with me. It's like that kind of energy. So your protection comes from within. Yes, you can sage, you can do all this stuff, but it's really right here. And if you've got a ghost in your house and you're fearful, it's going to feed off that fear. So if you can't find that place where you can have that intention of I am protected and it can't mess with me, you need to get out of the house and let somebody in that's not afraid of it. So that's like rule one, is like you can't be afraid of it. To me, like there are earthbound spirits and there are spirits that come and go, that visit, and then there are also spirit guides that'll make themselves known and stuff. So you have to kind of differentiate between that. When I'm doing a personal reading, I will not connect to an earthbound spirit. I will not, because only spirits that have crossed over into the light, done their life review, only spirits of love, mercy, compassion, and healing are allowed to connect to me. Now, when I go in Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, that's been on every ghost hunting show, and there are a lot of earthbound spirits, I'll connect with an earthbound spirit that way. But when I'm doing a personal reading, I will not allow an earthbound spirit to connect to me. So I set that boundary. You can set that boundary like you can't come home with me. I actually allowed a ghost from Eastern State to come home with me, and I crossed him over. Like I knew he was coming home with me to get crossed over to the other side. So to me, it's all about intention. You got to carry that strong intention in you that nothing can mess with you.
Mm-hmm. Very true. I'll go next since I'm the middle kid. Boundaries are important in setting in that sphere because I have a little bit of I agree, and I want to say yes and to Jen's theory. I have seen people who are also very strong and very good at shielding and guarding and protecting. I have worked with some deep shamans, but yet some energy still was able to kind of penetrate. And it wasn't because they were allowing it. It was just that energy, that was that strong 4D energy was so toxic that it did disrupt a ceremony or balance. Knowing how to quickly activate a shield, quickly set a boundary is very helpful. So yes, you can help penetrate and balance and whatever, but also still mentally go in. It's like getting in your car and not putting on your seatbelt. when you know you're going to drive 90 miles an hour, or even just drive down the street to the mailbox, you still instinctually put on that seatbelt. I kind of use it as the same mindset. And then my second piece of advice is you're not crazy. I spent a lot of years of my life thinking I was crazy, finding other ways to cope that were not healthy. I love when Shay said, imaginary friends. My family thought I was nuts because I had little friends, Goo Goo and Gigi and all these other things. And then come to find out, were they really imaginary friends, or was I talking to spirit energy the entire time? You're not crazy. And the moment you take that, because you're putting a stigma on yourself, and then therefore and whatever's trying to communicate with you, whether it's earthbound or spirit-bound, can't really talk to you because you're doubting it, because you're doubting yourself. Yeah. And there's various spectrums. I'm not necessarily saying, hey, you're the next Jenn Lynn psychic medium level, but go, you know what? I think I can hear and see, or you know what? No, that wasn't just a light flickering on and off because the electricity is bad. It keeps happening at a certain time. Yeah, that's probably spirit energy. And embrace it.
Understanding too, like if Sage got rid of all spirits, I wouldn't be able to do personal readings, right? Because I sage my house to clarify energies and stuff, but I still have spirits of loved ones come in and connect with me for personal readings. Mm-hmm. Do I sage when I go in to evict a ghost that's earthbound that won't cross over? Yes, but there's a different intention to my saging. So again, it all comes from intention and what you're putting out there. So if I'm saging to clear energy in my house, it doesn't get rid of the ghosts I have in my house.
It just gets rid of the funky ones.
Yeah. Unless I set that intention that I want them to go. I don't want them to go because they're nice spirits. They're not earthbound.
What's your piece of advice, Shay?
My advice would be, okay, for me, I'm not a big label person. So like I said, I had to navigate this culturally, right? Because I dealt with a lot of witchcraft. They tried to exorcise me in the church, y'all. Because that's a demon spirit or whatever. Like I felt as though, I was a prophetess, right? Like that was my title in the church, right? Mm-hmm. However, you can't you cannot take only the good messages. You got to take all the messages. And at this point, I was getting beat up so badly spiritually from this, that when they were like, okay, we're going to cast that demon, I was like, take it, take it, I'm tired. I am tired. And to hear voices come from my mouth, but it wasn't like, it was like TV, but it wasn't like TV. Another voice came out of my mouth, and it would do this a lot. It was mad at what they were doing, right? It wasn't so much that it was mad with me, and it wasn't a violent thing. It was just, you could hear people's voices coming out of my mouth, and that scared the crap out of them, right? And basically, they would just show me things. And so I think that the biggest thing is you have to kind of know. You will know. I don't know how to tell you. There's how you know, but you know if it's good or bad, because you'll get this feeling. Like I get sick. Like I get physically ill or sick. Sometimes I get the physical medium type symptoms, right? But I'm very closed off to that. I'm like, I don't want to feel it. I will hear you. I will listen to you. I'm very open to auditory. That's, however, I feel like if I was to open the door all the way, it all will come in, because the more that I use it, that's my advice right there. The more you use it, the more it will grow. The more you allow, the stronger it will be till you reach your potential of who you are supposed to be. But I think that if you're cautious, then turn the tap slowly. That's what I'm doing. I'm like, okay, I can hear very clearly. People tell me stuff, right? I can look at pictures and I know stuff. I can watch television and I know things. However, sometimes I feel stuff. You know what I mean? Like when you were talking about your friend and his lung problems, I was having the chest problems, and I was like, no. He was, but here's the thing. He was just saying what it was, right, to me. But I'm just like, no. Kind of like when no.
I let them put stuff on me to show me how they died, but it's not my physical body. I just get a sensation to let me know how they passed on.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, got it, take it off.
I've done the same. I had a friend, her sister died, and she was very upset about her sister died. And I started getting chest pains, and I couldn't breathe suddenly. I went, oh. And I went, she suffocated because she choked on her own vomit. And my friend was like, we just got the report back. Yeah, they said it was asphyxiation. I was like, yeah, unfortunately, I think she had an OD and went to vomit and choked on her own vomit, and she suffocated because I physically felt the air leaving and me trying to. And then once it was done, it was done. And I was like, oh, okay, moving on again. Like
I went into a cell in Eastern State that was one of the solitary confinement cells, and my left hand started tingling, and it was like I just had this impression that somebody's hand was amputated. Like I just felt like somebody sliced a hand off, and I could kind of feel what he went through. And I went outside, and there was a sign that was talking about a riot in like 1911 or something, that they had like a couple of deaths and somebody lost his hand. And I'm like, okay, he's still there. Give him his hand back.
Can he have his hand back, please? Let's get into some story. Jace, I hope if you don't feel comfortable sharing, I'm Jace. Because I saw Jace's name. Because Jace is saying, Liza, I lived and worked in. So I'm sorry, I was reading Jace's comment. Shay, if you don't feel comfortable with this, I totally get it.
Yeah.
But what was it like to be in that exorcism moment what did you like? That's intense.
What was it like?
Mm-hmm. Or
it was like I receded down a hallway. It was like I receded down a hallway.
Mm-hmm.
I know that sounds crazy. You ever hear somebody talk down a hallway? It looked like I was pulled back like down a hallway, and I'm looking down a hallway, and the person that spoke went forward. If that makes any sense, like I was inside there, but I don't know. It was like it was just like this. Like I went back and they went forward, and it was just like when the scream. It was a scream, not even a scream, not a high pitched scream. It was like with all these different voices, right? All these different voices was like that sounds really crazy, but that's what happened. It scared the crap. Like they had a baby pool in the pulpit, a baby pool. Child, all of them was trying to hold me, right? And I don't know what it was. It was just like me. At that point, I was so exhausted just because I had enough, right? But plenty of times they would come to me, and like when they were telling me, they would put hot coals in my mouth, right? And they'd be like these hooded figures, right? And they'll come and was bringing me forward, and all I could see was this hot tongs with the hot thing to put it in my mouth. And I'm like, trying not, and they're dragging you forward, but then they put it in my mouth. And it don't burn. Like it burned, but it didn't burn. Like that's kind of crazy. There was times when I first started learning how to do, it was like I had black gunk in my throat. They showed me like I threw up, like I literally was throwing up black gunk out of my throat because I would choke. Every time they would try to speak through me, they were showing me how I was blocking them, right? So like I was literally would choke. They would want me to speak so much, and I was refusing to be a physical medium. Like they showed me throwing up black gunk and clearing out my throat because I had blocked it and stuffed so much down there so that none of that stuff would come out. So it was, I don't know, it was very surreal. At that point, that was like, I left the church after that, right? I just kind of felt like I'm better off on my own.
Right.
I'm fucking crazy. Because you're looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, well, did you get it? But it was like a no. But so I don't know. I wasn't scared. I'm not, when it's happening to me, I'm not scared because it's like I'm compartmentalized. Like I'm channeling. I channel like I'm not there. It's quieter. It's not scary. It's like a waiting room, in a way. And I just watch what's going on. And sometimes I'm actively right there. I'm not pulled back, but I'm right there. But yet I don't remember what exactly is happening. So it's interesting. It's interesting.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. It's not a bad thing for me. Like I'm pretty sure other people have had some type of experience where if you were a real Bible belty, churchy, they do some stuff.
Yeah, I was part of performing one, but never the.
For me, it didn't hurt because the people that were speaking through me were not bad to me. Yeah. It wasn't directed at me. And I think, and it was just strength, and it was just loud. It wasn't. You ever see those people like they're like, if you ever watch Voodoo on TV, but you ever see where they become possessed by the spirit of something else? It was very much like that, like not yourself. I don't know how to explain that.
Jay just said you need a movie or documentary on your story. That is, I would agree. That's
not normal. Okay, please tell me if this is not normal, y'all, because that experience. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, sure, I'm sure they had to exercise some demons out of some people. I just wasn't comfortable with them thinking I had some like demon or I was spirit possessed because of that. You can't pick and choose which gifts you want to use.
Yes, I personally don't believe in demons. I think they're earthbound tricksters who try to make you think they're a demon to scare the crap out of you. And when I see these ghost hunting shows where they're like, oh, it's a demon, and they're all running and screaming, I'm like, oh, come on. It just does not resonate with me. I've taken seminars with James Van Praagh, who's a well-known psychic medium and author, and he talks about that he's never met an evil spirit. He's met people who weren't nice in life that are earthbound that just haven't moved on. If you're not nice in life, you're not nice when you're earthbound until you go into the light and heal that. You're just not a nice person.
Yeah.
Jen, tell me, I know you've got so many. Give me your youngest paranormal experience when you were the youngest. Remember?
Probably, going up to that haunted house behind our neighborhood. My mom never watched us and never knew where we were, and we were never close to home. Like we would go way up in the fields behind the neighborhood, and as long as I was with the older siblings, she's like, okay, built-in babysitters, right? But I was probably like 4 or 5 years old when we would go up there. I don't know, that's probably the youngest feelings. I know, like, one of my great aunts, her ancestral home that she lived in was over 100 years old. And I know when I would go upstairs to what was her son's bedroom, I could always feel one of her sons there. And I found out later he died in World War I. So that's probably the youngest. But some of the best experiences, and Beth Cat, who's in here, is a friend of mine. She'll know the story. When I bought my house in Long Island, the first time Rosa made her presence known to me, I had 7 cats, and I was down in the kitchen, and I was feeding my cats, and 6 of them were fine. One of them was stone deaf, right? And I'm feeding the cats, and all of a sudden we hear a woman like a woman's footsteps overhead. It didn't sound like a flat-footed man walking on the hardwoods. It sounded like a woman in heels walking across the hardwood floors upstairs. And I look at the cats, and they're following the noise with their eyes across the ceiling. All of them, except for the deaf one. And she's just chowing down. So the other 6 are like watching the noise. I'm like, okay, they heard it too. So I go upstairs, and that's when I met Rosa. I was like, immediately, I got the name Rosa. I called her Rosie a lot of times. And I looked her up on the 1940 census, like who lived in this house in 1940. The house was built in like 1924, 25. And it was Rosie Edelman.
Yeah.
So I had her name right.
Wow. Shay, tell me about how do you work? Like, how do you experience them now? Because what I loved, talk about the multi-dwelling unit. Okay. And what it's like having, so you and I both live in multi-dwelling units. Yeah. There's pros and there's cons to that. talk about what you experience with supernatural energy, living in, because you're especially in Canada, in a multi-dwelling unit, and then also tell some experiences, and then also what advice you may have for people like me who are in a multi-dwelling unit, and how you shield and protect yourself, and what can others do.
Okay. For me, a multi-dwelling is a lot more intense. Because there's the sheer number of people. Like, I don't know if you guys think about this, and I'm not trying. My family says I'm always that one that got a ruined toast or ruin, something like. Okay, you ever think about like how many people have died in multi-dwelling place where you are? There's so many people attached. Like, I live in a building. Like, there's a lot of old people. Old people ghosts. I don't know what it is. It's like old people, and they walk up and down the hallways. Like, I didn't know. Like, at first, I haven't lived in an apartment building in a very long time, right? So I was living in a house. A house ghost is usually, the house ghosts are usually chiller. It's just either one or, usually like the most recent I can say was when me and my husband first got married. I was staying in my in-laws house, and each of the kids had their own childhood bedroom. Even to this day, like, they go back and they kind of sleep in their own childhood bedrooms. Well, I was just like, I want to sleep in this other bedroom. You know what I mean? So I would go in there and I would try to sleep. And every time I try to sleep in this room, I wouldn't get any sleep. So I said, I got up one morning, I was mad because it was like the third day and I was tired. And I went down to my mother-in-law, said, you this old man, if this old man don't leave me alone, I swear to God, I'm about to evict him, right? And she's like, what? She's like, I told you my house was haunted. I said, no, there's an old man up in that room who messes with people because he doesn't want them in his room. And she was like, who is it? And I walked down the steps and I'm like, that man right there, right? It was a picture of this old man, like he's a great something of my husband's great I don't know, he looks like he's so old. It looks like one of those pictures that came with an old frame and an antique, like a stranger man, but then that's their family. And he's there at that house. He's attached to his picture with his family, and he likes that room, and anybody that goes in that room is not getting a good night's sleep. So I told him, I went up there the next night, I said, listen, I said, I'm gonna tell you how it's gonna be. Let me sleep. Don't bother me, and I won't bother you. That's my philosophy. Don't bother me. I ain't going to bother you. I said, however, I swear you got one more good time, or I swear I'm going to clean this room and you're not going to be allowed to come here and hang around. Nothing. We're getting ready to put a stop to this right now because I'm real serious about my sleep in the older age. So he did something, and I went up there. So I just told him I wasn't playing. So I just went in their room and started raising the vibration of the room. I was like, you're going to leave. If I go any higher with this with you, you're going to be pushed out of here because you're not nice. You know what I mean? And you're bothering people. And you make people feel uncomfortable. If this is your family, you're supposed to love your family. You're supposed to treat your family nice. You know what I mean? Why are you here then? I have conversation with them. I talk to them like, now I'm more bold, right? Because I was mad. I always get mad, right? Because I ignore them. Like, that's my plan. You don't see me, I don't see you. Nope. You know what I mean? Like, I ignore them because I feel as though I have to, or they will talk me incessantly, or they'll show up at weird times. Like, so what the story with the older man in the house, he calmed down. Like, me and him are cool, right? Like, he doesn't bother me when I sleep. I don't sleep in there anymore. I go to another room. But when the rest of the time of that summer that I slept in that room, he calmed down. Everybody was like, everything's fine. I was like, yeah. And I talked to my mother now and again. She said, no, the old man's been fine. So those are stories like that. Like, we have to have a conversation because you're messing with the wrong one right now.
A lot of people, when they first start opening up to mediumship abilities and start becoming aware of it, they'll bother you all night long. And it's like, I would sit up in bed and say, oh no, you aren't messing with my sleep. You talk to me in the daylight. I'm going to bed now. You bother me now.
Office hours are from 9 to 5.
Can you bring it back to I felt like you were getting ready to talk about the multi-dwelling unit.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so what I had to do was, okay, my guys had been telling me for quite some time before we moved here. They were prepping me, and I didn't know. It always seems like that sometimes. It takes me a little while. I tell them, I'm slow. You got to spell it out. You got to spit it out. Or, honey, I'm not going to pick up the clues. Mm-hmm. So they were, telling me about cleansing and protection, I was like, every time they was like, get in a regimen, do it. Get a regimen, right? That way you don't get beat up in these spiritual streets. So I was like, okay, because I had to prepare the spiritual bath, and I was lazy. because it takes some intention and some work to do it. But I say, hey, go big, make a big jug of whatever, of your wash or whatever, concentrate or whatever you're going to do. So that was one area. So you got to cleanse, protect, I ward, I purify things before I bring them in my house. I seal my house, like the same way that you would shield and protect yourself. I shield and protect every last entrance in and out of my house. Things can move in and out if they have a certain vibration, but if it's not, my intention is that if you're not high vibrating, you cannot even come over here. So all the people that's walking down the hall, they know that I'm here, but they're not really, these people that I see, these dead people, like, they're just miserable in their own, they're mumbling, like, how like they just walking like, like they're in their own mental, I don't know. Only the ones, they don't bother me. The people that's wandering around, I don't know if that's just residual or whatever that is, but there's people that's died, they just wander around doing whatever. And then my cat is fascinated with this closet. But what they were telling me was on the other side, I feel like somebody might have hung themselves in a closet on the other side of my closet. Like my closet is back to back because my cat like is there. And every time I want to go in there, that it's just something in that closet, right? That she is every day. She lays there. She scratches it. Like she will put her arm under, like something's in there, right? And she'll go in there and sit in there for hours. So something happened with something. So somebody's...
Cats are very perceptive, more so than dogs. Like dogs are perceptive, but cats are like over the top perceptive of spirit.
Yeah. Well, I let her do her thing. They say a cat can project their aura out 9 times or whatever. I'll be like, girl, earn your keep. Hurt them, do whatever you got to do, but on your keep, So I just kind of use crystals. I use incense. I use oils. Like one time I was laughing because Adrian sent me this spray, right? Girl, put a warning on it. I sprayed this thing. Everything went quiet. Like, bam! I was like, oh, yeah. I slept for 2 days. And then when it started to wear off, somebody came into my house like, hi, Shay. I was like, oh, hell no. We are not doing this. It wasn't a bad person. I felt like it was a psychic projection of somebody testing me, right? Because it wasn't a bad intent. It was like a person that come over your house and don't call. You know what I mean? It was like, it was not a ghost. It was a person.
Show up to my house.
It's a person. It was a person from the YouTube arena. I was like, oh no, we got to take new precautions. You was not going to show up at my house. And the reason why I knew is because my people don't wake me up till 4:00. They know I'm not even trying to hear it. I will shut it all down. You know what I mean? Do not wake me up. I don't care if y'all partying out here. I don't care what y'all doing out here, but do not wake me up. Do not be coming in. Don't be bothering me. So I had to ward my bedroom special. So my bedroom is super warded on that. So there's just, you basically, it's whatever tradition that you're working in or whatever your beliefs are or the ways that you can protect. But I feel that multi-layering your protection. So, I wear protection on my body. I cleanse, I shield, I use crystals. I use everything I got to do. I got Palo Santo. I got everything. So that's basically it for me. But in a house is a little bit, you can do more things with your own property. This is not your property. So you have to I use stones for the ink for doing that, for the warding. Whereas on your own property, there's things that you can do to your land. I was
going to say, Jen, you've lived in multi-dwelling units as a psychic medium, and now you've got your own house. What is your take on this?
Well, I just want to kind of back up for a second because spirits are not, you can live in a new dwelling and have spirits. You may be on what used to be Native American land, or you may be on what used to be a Civil War battlefield, or you may be on land that was a farm. There's a lady I helped clear a spirit from her home that lived on a farm, and the old farmer kept coming in her newish, built like 20 years ago duplex. And she was like, what is this? What is this? And I said, he owned this farmland that this whole neighborhood is built on. It was like an 80-acre farm at one time, So you can have spirits that haunt a new dwelling also.
Mm-hmm. I've had that experience as well.
Yeah, but for me, like I go in, like I lived in When I moved out of Manhattan, I moved to Hoboken, then I moved to Westfield, New Jersey, and I was commuting by train into the New York. And I lived in the downstairs of a Victorian house that was over 100 years old. And I had spirit activity downstairs. My neighbor upstairs never was aware of anything going on, anything, until I got her to pet sit for me. I had 2 cats at the time, and I was a buyer at the time. And I said, "Will you take care of my cats while I go on this buying trip?" Right? So I warned her. I said, they're pranksters. They like to open all the kitchen cabinets. And it had these old farmhouse kitchen cabinets that latched real hard. And I said, you'll walk in the room, do something in the kitchen, walk out, go back in there, and every cabinet door will be open. She was like, "Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah, right." Well, it happened while I was gone, and she made her daughter go down there and feed my cats the rest of the time. She wouldn't step into my downstairs. And I'm like, they're harmless. They're just getting your attention,
Yeah. I use spiritual guardians too. So for me, like, this is like a variety of things that I do. But it's funny, like, I used to have this one guardian that used to guard my door. And my kids used to be scared of it. And I kind of like talked it up a little bit, and I'd be like, "Yeah, he's watching you. He tells me what you do when I'm not looking." And I would tell them stuff, right? And they'd be like, "Oh, how do you know?" Like my kids, whatever, right? Well, like totally be like that. But yeah, like there's some people that will try to come to my door, like, because I've got things set. They can't get past my door. Like they feel they got to go home, like, or whatever. I'll be like, "Bye," like. People are like, "Do you hate when people cancel on you at the last minute?" Nope, because you wasn't supposed to cross my field. You know what I mean? Like, nah, sis. I'm good. I'm a firm believer in who's supposed to be in my path, I shall encounter, and those that I don't, I'm not. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, I set intentions. Like, you just have to amp it up to the level of activity that you feel comfortable with. Like, I don't feel scared. Like I tell you, I've been in houses that are haunted, but it's not like haunted house. It's like a house with people in it that's left over, if that makes any sense to me. In the time that it's happening, I'm not scared. When I think about it later, I'm just like, but but at the time that it's happening, I'm very focused and very clear about what I want and what I don't want. And sometimes, like my one of my family members has a child that came to me one time, and that was the first time that I literally had someone where they were able to get past the family ghosts, you know what I mean? Like the family spirits. And I was like, because I was like, "How you get in here?" And then I was like, he was just like, tell this. And I was like, "Hey, hold up. I don't want to tell that. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to tell her that." And he's just like, there. And I'm like, ah. I was like, "Okay, I'm going to write it down and I'll tell her." I was like, "But you got to go, because I'm not having all this." She can hear me. She's gonna talk to me. She's talking to me. She's like that, like kind of like that, like it was. She's telling. And I was like, "Okay, I will tell her." Now you skedaddle, be gone. And he hung around until I talked to her, and then it wasn't what she expected, because she had paid for something else. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't like to do that. It bothers me a little bit, like when I'm doing a reading for people and a message comes in and it's nothing about what they wanted to talk about. And I'm just like, no, they don't want to talk about this. Like, this could be awkward, But usually the person has been wanting to hear it. So I've kind of like, you know what? I'm just going to say this at the beginning of the reading. This person wants to say this, and that. How do you want to proceed? Do you want to proceed the way that you scheduled, or do you want to pursue this situation, this message, or whatever it was that this person wanted to say? And I let them decide, and that kind of made it a better thing. And usually now, though, they go back about their business, and I'm like, okay, I can work with this. I like it when you go and you respect the boundaries. Like, we can do this. So I think that that's the biggest thing. If you don't be afraid. Don't feed them. Don't feed the trolls. Ignore them. I ignore them. If it's not harming or hurting or whatever, if it's whatever, set time away for them. Set time for them. Say, okay, listen, when I do this or during this time, this is when y'all can come and say something to me. Outside of these times, I am not receptive and I'm not open and I will not pass your message. But you legitimately have to put that time in and give them some time so they can know when you're open for business. Set your office hours. That's what's been working for me. So that would also be an advice.
I want to put Jenn on the spot for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready, Jenn?
Sure.
Do you accept this challenge, Jenn?
I accept this challenge.
Ghost energy, earth energy, and animal energy. Can you explain the difference between ghost spirit, ghost and animal spirit in your 3 levels?
Earthbound energies feel thicker to me. Mm-hmm. And I just have this sense, this knowing, like they're earthbound, they have not crossed over. And I think part of that comes from my guide sharing with me, like they're earthbound, watch it. Because if they're earthbound, they'll be tricksters. And for me, I don't care like how bad a person you were. If you were earthbound, I'll ask you if you want to cross over. Yeah, I'll try to cross you over. But if they don't want to go, then I'm like, okay, I'm going to kick you out of here, right? With people that have crossed over on the other side, you can just feel like, okay, they've gone into the light, they've done their life review, they've healed, even if they were really bad people. I've had fathers come in who sexually abused their daughter, when they were living, and they're trying to come through and apologize. And, the person may not be ready to hear that message. But my job as a medium is I'm going to deliver it, and that's it. And then you got to go, because if she doesn't want to accept your apology, I did my job, then you got to go, and they don't hang around me because I won't let them. I guess that part of that's with my guides too. Like they'll make sure they clear out. But there's earthbound energies that are like, I go on a lot of Civil War battlefields and stuff like that. There's a 15-year-old girl I was helping that wasn't aware she was a medium and kept getting a man in her closet and scared her so much. She was sleeping in the hallway at night, and her mother asked me if I would go over. So when I explained to her what was going on, I said, you've got mediumship abilities. The first thing is to set your boundaries and know that you are protected. And I talked to the spirit that was in her closet, and I said, let's try to cross him over. And I taught her how to do it. And I said, if they won't cross over, you can say, you got to go. You can kick them out. This is your bedroom. This is your space. So I did a ceremony with her, and she could feel the audible pop and the physical pop of energy when they went into the light. You can feel it. Like this heaviness that's on the room is suddenly very light. And I asked her, I said, what do you feel? And she said, like nothing is here now. And she smiled. But, empowering like someone that's 15 years old that doesn't know what to do with this and is terrified so bad she's sleeping in the hall and crying every night, that was like very special to be able to help somebody. There's other people like a lady I helped. She was an X-ray technician in a hospital, and all of a sudden she had this energy in her house that was very negative. Like she felt like she was being watched when she was in the shower, that kind of creepy feeling like. And I said, this is a patient of yours that passed away recently. And I gave her his name. And I said, he wasn't quite right in his head. And you were like helping with x-rays and tests and stuff they were doing on him. And I said, he was a little bit of a dirty old man, and he's earthbound, and he's still a little dirty old man. So we're going to cross him over and let him know this isn't acceptable behavior. He wasn't family. He just followed her home from work after he died.
That happens too.
Yeah.
Talk about animal spirit.
Animal spirits are wonderful. Most animal spirits cross over just like humans. Like some will cross immediately. Some may take 2 or 3 days. Some may take a couple of weeks to go to the other side. Same thing with humans. Like they may go to their funeral. They may go to the other side and come back and go to their funeral, that kind of thing. Some will go around and say goodbye before they go fully into the light. And animals are kind of the same way. So you can get earthbound animals if they were traumatized or something. There's my next door neighbor had a cat that was haunting her house, and I told her, I said, "Is your dog like watching things like in the corner but low on the floor?" And I said, "Are you seeing like a blur, like a little shadow run across the floor?" And she goes, "Yeah." I said, "You've got a ghost cat." I said, "I'm going to see if I can cross it over." Yeah, so I crossed it over. It was from way, way, way back. But again, there's a different density to their energy. Like you just have this knowing when they're earthbound versus when they are just coming back and visiting. My cats that are on the other side, they come back and visit all the time. You know, I'll hear little Pilar, she was deaf and blind when she passed away, and she let me know she could see again and everything. But when she comes in my bedroom, I'll hear the click, click, click of her claws on the floor, and she would walk in circles because she would go along the wall, and when she'd hit a corner, she'd turn and go down the next wall and down the next wall. She would bump into things, so she was repeating what she did in life just to let me know, yeah, it's me, I'm here.
Shay, have you had experience with animal spirit?
Not that I know of. Like I said, not animals specifically. Nope. Not that I would recognize if it was an animal. Most of them really that I've been dealing with seems like humans.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. I used to be. I was a dog trainer, and I worked at a pet shelter. So I think spirit knows that I would not be able to handle animal energy because of that work that I've done in human form on this earth. Like, I think it's like, we're not going to bring any animals because you're not going to be able to, especially traumatic animals. You're not going to be able to handle that, Adrian. Mm-mm.
It's funny. Lucy is very perceptive of spirit energy and likes it. Like, she'll go to my basement where I have a ghost that visits occasionally in my basement. Artie doesn't like spirit energy. So he doesn't go in the basement. And I had Johnny read on this one night. I said, why doesn't Artie go in the basement with Lucy? He's like, he doesn't like spirit. He will come around and sit here when I'm doing personal readings. If he likes the energy of the person I'm reading, he will sit here like through the whole reading, looking at him and kind of staring. But when I'm doing mediumship, he's like, oop, I'm out of here.
No. Thank you.
He's like, I only like people I can see physically, not the spirit ones.
That is awesome. Yeah.
But Lucy loves it. I mean, she'll sit and stare at things. That last night in our live stream, I think it's about an hour in, whenever Lucy made her appearance, she was sitting here looking directly at the camera. And you'll notice, like, she kept like jerking like this and jerking like this. She was looking at my stairwell where Rosa moved with me. She moves with me. Rosa was making her presence known, and Lucy kept like squirreling and watching what's Rosie doing over on the stairwell.
That's awesome. Shay, your cat with your kitty cat with that closet, that's still.
I am telling you, I don't understand it. She's never done this. That's why. Because I mean, like, usually she's so indifferent. But if I go to the back of the house, if I walk past my closet, she will come there because she's waiting for me to open it. Sometimes I just leave it open. I'm like, I don't know what you want, but here, go in there. She'll just go and sit in the closet and just sit in there. And then I can shut the door and walk away, and she will not say anything. Like, I don't know what she's doing in there or what's in there, but she likes that closet.
She's conversing with them.
Are you open to Jen and I throwing some cards on what's in that closet?
Go ahead.
She's conversing with them.
Let's see. All right, Jen, let's see who and what is kitty cat near the door, kitty cat on the floor. What's your cat's name?
Ymir.
What?
Ymir.
What is Ymir playing with? What is Ymir?
It's my son's kitty cat. I'm babysitting.
Rosie, my cats would play with her. They'd run up and down the stairs chasing her, and I'd be like, what's on the stairs? And she was just like playing with them on the stairs all the time.
Yeah. She's drawn to something conflict. Yeah. whatever's in that closet, you need to cross over. Okay. I'll see what you need to cross over whatever's in that closet because it's strong and it's got some burdensome energy and she's attracted to the conflict. It needs to cross over though. And I think it would be open to being crossed over with the world card. It doesn't want, oh, okay.
This is a new energy that's come in, and it's someone that departed suddenly, like boom. Something has changed with it, and this is a newer energy. I do see an action needs to be taken, so rejoining them with their family, send them on their journey. They are in the structure of the closet, and they're a little erratic. I feel like they died of heart issue. I feel like it's a man. And I also feel like they had an addiction issue. So they're not in a good headspace. When I see addiction issues, I see it like negative gray energy, negative gray matter around the head. And this person, I think, probably died of an overdose.
I heard it's using kitty cat to try to get your attention because the kitty cat can't cross it over, you can.
Yeah.
And you'd be willing and open, it's willing and open to go over.
Yeah, I'm getting like all the goosebumps over the whole body.
Your shields are very, very strong. So good job. You're doing a very good job at shielding. But it doesn't know how to tell you. So it has to use kitty cat.
Okay.
Can we cross it over?
Yeah.
Can we cross them over right here?
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. Just imagine a ball of white light in the closet and let it grow until it fills the entire closet and out into the bedroom. A huge white light.
I'm going to ask it a couple questions. I mean, it's, are you still in pain? Okay. Know that we feel your pain. And I want you to understand, and if you're open, this white light that Jenn invited in, that light, use that light to surround you. Use that light in the top of your head. Let it come in. Use that light to help remove the pain.
There's nothing to fear on the other side. There's nothing but love and healing on the other side. You can let go of your burdens.
The pain, the physical pain. It is okay to let that go.
And step into the light. I feel like his name is Jack. You have family that is waiting for you on the other side. I feel your mother stepping forward.
Jack's pain is gone. I feel it physically leaving.
I feel he moved on.
Yeah, I feel the pain. I literally felt it from the top. It's okay. You can go. It's okay. Or if you're gonna stay, we can't force you to leave. But if you stay, just use this light to remove the pain. Because that physical pain will also help. Oh, okay, never mind. Shay, what are you feeling?
Well, yeah, the whole tingling, like it's going, like it's receding.
Only the places I feel at the bottom of my feet now, and even that's dissipating.
I get a sense of peace when they step into the light. If they don't step in, then I'm like, I work it from there. But I get a sense of peace and calm when they step into the light. To me, it's easy to cross them over when they're tired and weary and ready to lay down the physical body, as you said, like taking off your clothes, shedding it.
Yeah.
And I just start with a ball of white light, and I just expand it and expand it. You can do it like you can have 3 or 4 friends over and hold hands together and create an orb of light in the middle and just expand it out and invite them in.
Yeah, I think for me, like I said, I find that by myself, holding it open, that's why I'm telling you, hurry, because like, I don't know, when I do it for myself, when I surround myself, is no problem. But when I'm trying to do it for them, I'm like holding it. Like I feel like the more people you have, the stronger it can be to hold it and hold it open.
Hold it open, because it does shut very quickly. So like for me, like as soon as I get that sense of peace, I like shut it down.
Yeah, like yeah, I will definitely have to look and see what Miss Ymir is doing and see how she reacts when I go to take off my makeup.
Handles the closet and let us know.
Yeah. Because I tell you, like, because I kept looking like there was a man looking at me, like, looking. And I like, you know what? I got to the point, okay, I don't know if any of you guys have this experience, but I experience them all the time. So that's why I shield. But sometimes, like, in the middle of the night, when it's dark or whatever, I feel like they're around. I'm just like, that's right, I got this bathroom door open. Y'all better get on out if you don't want to see nothing you don't want to see. I'm not dealing with y'all. Like, because I have to block them out, because you wouldn't be able to do anything if you felt like somebody was watching or there was people around all the time. You're just like, basically, I'm like, you got a human body. You know what's about.
I meditate in my bathtub all the time, so I have spirits that come through for me all the time for my neighbors. So I'm kind of used to it. It's like, whatever. They don't have the same concerns from the other side. So
yeah, I'm like, y'all
I actually connect to them a lot when I'm in the bathtub.
Did you still want to do, I know you wanted to ask a couple questions about the White House ghost. Did you still want to do that?
I would love to. I'd like to know if they're bothering Trump down at Mar-a-Lago now that he's out of the White House. Because I know Miss Marjorie Merriweather Post is, but are any of the White House ghosts going down there and
take a look and see?
Someone is asking if they won't step into the light. That's when you have to get really firm with them. Because most people don't want earthbound energies left in their home or something. So I'm like, you have to leave. You have to go outside the building. You can walk around the yard or whatever, but you're not staying here, in this space.
I was going to say, I'm a shaman. I can't force them to leave, but we have to create a new boundary and a new contract with the property. So can you go, like Jen said, can you go sit in can you go sit make peace with the pretty tree? Or can you sit on the balcony if you want to come visit, and can you come at a certain time? But we have to, because you can't, if they don't want to go, you can't force it.
Yeah.
So you just got to renegotiate the
free will. You can't push them in, but a lot of times they want to cross over. So.
Shay, did you pull cards, or did you want to pull cards on that?
Yeah. I don't know. My mind was like, my mind was like, for 2 seconds. Like,
your mind is back in that closet, girl.
No, I was just feeling my space. You know what I'm saying? I was just feeling my space. Just feeling my space, reestablishing, my brain
is coming back. You're back in the earth form.
Yeah. Okay, so we're reading about White House ghosts?
Did the White House ghost go, are they bothering Trump and Mar-a-Lago, I think was Jen's question.
I think, oh yeah. I think, oh yeah.
Yeah, they went with him. The 8 of Cups, Wheel of Fortune, this was bound to happen. New actions following him with the Ace of Wands. The Devil showing up. And yeah, they're 5 of Cups. They're making him a little miserable right now.
Yeah, yeah. They basically at night, they're messing with his sleep.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've got friends on the other side. They talk to him, and he's businessman Trump now, and they mess with him. It's like Dark Night of the Soul. They return again and again and again. Big yes card, and they are people that are deceased, so spirits on the other side. He's kind of stuck with them for a while. Here's Trump, and they're pulling the sword of truth on him. They do keep him up at night, and they bully him a little bit.
Couldn't happen to a nicer person. Thank you, Marie Henson, for the super chat. May that generosity be returned to you, Tim.
Aaron's son, that's right. You ain't got to go home, but you got to get the heck out of here.
What about what ghosts are talking to Biden right now in the White House?
Are they making themselves known to Biden's family or his dogs or anything?
Let's see. Whoever wants to go can go.
I feel like he's not very open to it. I feel like the activity that's around or whatever's trying to get his attention, he is definitely cut off. He's cut that, like he doesn't. Yeah, like you ever have those kind of people that are. I'm a spiritual man. I
have a friend like that. We've traveled the world together, and me being the thing, all of these like paranormal experiences happen, and to this day she'll just like, oh no, and she'll deny it, and everybody's like,
he won't let us
like, dude, that was clearly I hate Hool or Hobgoblin, but okay.
They just keep saying that to me. I'm a spiritual man. I'm a spiritual man.
Well, Jesus would have told me. Jesus ran when he saw that plate fly across the room, girlfriend. Jesus got scared too, and he ran. Like, it's okay.
I feel like he's got kind of a blind eye to them also. But they realize he stands on higher ground. They come around him when he's working to help him, to help move him forward and to bring new opportunities to him, new ideas or new resources. They're saying, he's quite strong, but they do collaborate with him. It's a little bit erratically, but it seems more like when he's working as opposed to when he's sleeping.
Yeah, I got pretty much the same thing. Four Swords, he's not entertaining this at all. Justice and Judgment are very interesting too. That come up. Knight of Swords and the Ten of Wands. He's kind of turning a blind eye. We're trying to explain away certain occurrences that happen.
Somebody get entertained.
He's only been there 100 days, so he may just not have experienced as much. Like he hasn't become totally aware of them yet.
And we're not even at 100 days. I think the end of this week or something like that.
I feel like he's been a president for like a year or something.
It does feel like it's been.
Biden, how long we been here? 1,000 days by now.
Are we? We're at 2024. You getting ready to run again? So I
feel like this man has been on the job so long. I don't think that anybody's going to want to give this feeling up. I think he's going to get another 4. Like nobody's going to give this feeling up and go back into the crazy.
It's too funny. Yes, Deb. Jen has the most amazing Christmas trees, and they always are the best backdrop. When was the last time you changed your ornaments?
I haven't. I don't change them. I was just talking to my friend Beth the other night about, I've been calling it the corn tree, right? And I don't get my second shot till around May 17th. So I'm kind of thinking, leave it up till I get my second shot and I come out of quarantine.
Yeah, it works. Corn tree. That's awesome.
I like it though. I'm telling you, if I was like jazzy like that, that's cute.
I have another reason I like to leave it up. It helps with my lighting in the space because I have no overhead light. Yeah. So when I take it down, I start getting like a dark shadow lighting on my face and stuff, unless I put a spotlight on me, and that burns me up. So
It's like I got a method to my madness.
yeah, it makes me squint, if I have to put a light right in my eye.
See, your cat is good. My cat will have her butthole all up in this camera, like embarrassing me. You know what I mean? Like just showing her butt to me.
Oh, he did that last night for a little while.
Like Artie. I was like, yeah, I thought I saw Artie's booty last night. Are you ladies open to answering some questions from the forum?
Absolutely.
So, one question I wanted to go to Worldwide Ghost. I hope Worldwide is still in the chat. Can either of you pick a woman's name for her? She said, is there a woman's name that either of you two are getting that's directed at Worldwide Ghosts? I keep getting in Nancy.
I don't know. I heard a Jenna or a J name, some kind of.
She's got multiple spirits around her. I'm hearing Helen or Ellen, but I'm hearing like there's more, like there's a group.
So we got all three: Helen,
Jenna or Jen. Shay, some kind of Jack.
Jenna, and I said a Nancy. Let us know which one of us gets anywhere close.
Ellen or Elaine, EL kind of name.
Yeah.
When I first saw that's what came to me.
Aryan Spirit wants to know, how do you say goodbye to a spirit after you've made contact?
For me, like when I'm doing a reading, I just tell them, thank you for coming through. You can go back to your loved ones. And I do that like off camera, off Skype. After I finish the reading, I'm like, you can go back to your loved one now. And they go. So occasionally they'll hang around a little bit and I'm like, okay, you can go. I got to clear out here because I got more coming in.
Yeah, I close it down when I close a reading and I close it down. I close down that whole session. All their spirits and affiliated people or whatever. I just shut it down. Like I tell them they gotta go. They don't stick around either. I guess that's what my intention is. Like when I say goodbye, I actually say goodbye.
Yeah. Then I'm done.
Yeah, with that, your appointment is over. So
I don't walk around open when I'm in public. Because when I'm around other people, I'd get bombarded by spirits. So I don't walk around open, but I have had a few times where spirit was so loud and so insistent that I did get a message in public. But in general, like when I'm shut down, I'm shut down. I'm not walking around giving messages to everybody I run into.
Yeah. Debbie wants to know, how do you cross over animal spirit?
Same way. I do ball of light, and ask them to come in. And, what's interesting for me, animals, when they come through from the other side, I hear them just like a human voice. Like they talk to me and they tell me about their personalities and, different things about themselves. So they come in because it's energy. I found it really interesting. If anybody's ever watched the channel Huff Paranormal, he posted a video yesterday of an animal, a dog, coming through his spirit box where he communicates with spirits, so that you can audibly hear them. And the dog was speaking in English, and I'm like, yep, that's how they come through to me. Sometimes I'll get a sense of like what size they are, like were they small, medium, or large dog. Sometimes I'll get a sense of what breed they are or what color they were. Sometimes names, but most of the time, like they come through a lot of times as children. So I was reading for this lady and I said, I've got 13-year-old daughter. She passed away at 13. And she goes, Jen, I'm not married. I don't have any kids. I said, 13-year-old daughter. I said, Margaret. No, Maggie. And she goes, oh my God, that's my dog, Maggie. She did die at 13. And I'm like, and there you go. You treated her like a child. She's coming through like your daughter.
Yeah.
So
animals are quite interesting to me, how they come through.
I've never I don't know. My stuff kind of happens organically. People just come up to me organically. You'll say something, and then I'll just say, "Oh, it's so organic." It never, I've never sat down to be like, "Okay, give me your hands," or any of that. I've never really sat down to do that. I just kind of be like, "Oh," it's kind of like, Somebody mentioned something like, "Ah."
Yeah,
so I think
tuning into it.
Yeah, it's like I'll open my ear up to hear what they'll say, and then once my curiosity is like, okay, bye, Basically I'll just say whatever. So I don't know. I've never, like, nobody's ever said to me, about their cat, or it's always luckily been a person. Not luckily, but I mean, like, I don't even know. I love animals, and I love, like, babies, the animals the most, but yet, and I love watching them. But, like, I don't know. I don't know if I have a connection, like, where they've ever tried to talk to me, or I've recognized it as an animal. But I have seen kids, you know what I mean, that play around a lot. Well, not a lot, but I had one that was I had a cousin visiting, and I was like, and she would take my cards. One time I went out of the room, came back in, the cards were in the middle of the floor. I was like, gather the cards up, come back. Second time I was after that, I was like, nope, we're not doing this. We're not. You need to get your little butt and get on out, because we're not playing this drop my cards on the floor type stuff. You don't went too far. Whoa.
Earthbound energies, as well as departed loved ones on the other side, they will sometimes present themselves like at a time where they felt great and were really happy, and doing well in their life. So you might have a 90-something-year-old grandmother that comes through and shows herself to me as like 40, and earthbound energies, like they can kind of shift, like if they died in a miserable way or whatever, they might come back and show themselves, at a younger age.
Okay, this is an interesting question. We kind of touched on it, but we didn't go to this level. How do you know the difference between human, spirit, angel, and divine energy?
Angels, to me, I get angel tingles all over my back when I'm connecting with them. And you guys know, if you've watched me, I connect to the angels a lot, especially Archangel Raphael. I invoke the angels a lot when I'm doing candles for people in the healing circle and stuff, and spread that healing light out to everyone in need. So angels, it's a very sweet energy, and it's like I'll get different smells for different angels, so I get scents with them. Departed loved ones that have gone into the light, it's more about picking up on like their personality, a little bit about them, how they carry themselves in life. So if they I'll go back to the Marjorie Merriweather Post video. She felt like she sat very prim and upright, as a society woman, and felt like she had jewels on and a dress, and made me feel like I wanted to sit up. It's the same thing when I pick up on somebody's loved one. If they were kind of slouchy, lazy, like my posture may change while I'm connecting to them. It's like, oh, they were kind of, laid back, lazy.
I'm all about presentation, how they present themselves to me. Like, that's a big thing. Don't be coming in here acting all crazy and disrespectful. Have some manners. Like, I just, like, so they don't approach me like that. Like, for me, it's more of they'll come in when I'm going to do a reading, basically. That's the most time that they come in. Other times, I'm just pointing out that they are here. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pointing out. Unless they have a message for me, then I just point it out. But most of the times when they come through, it's always in connection to a reading that I'm doing or someone that I'm talking to. And then it just feels kind of natural. I'll be like, well, this is what so-and-so has to say. You know what I mean? Like, and then when they ask the questions, they give me that information or whatever at that time. And the part that's why people are like, oh, that's so freaky. I'm like, why you gagging? So I bring it to you every ball, right? But like why are you going to believe, like, why each and every time I tell you something, then you act like it's like we didn't have this conversation or this has never happened before. That's the part that gets me. I think that's the most funniest part, is when they're just like amazed, because then I get amazed. They're like, we're both like, ah.
I had a spirit yell at me one time at the beginning of a reading. I was reading for a lady, we'll call her Jane Doe, right? And I said, I've got mother energy here, and I said, she's screaming at me, and like, I can't understand a word she's saying. Hang on a second. I said, I can't get her to calm down. She's just screaming at me. And she said, Jen, my mother was schizophrenic, and that's how she was in life. And as soon as she said that, her mother calmed down and said, I'm better now. So she was just showing me how she was in life, like a screaming, raging person that you couldn't even understand what she was saying because she was so violent almost, verbally.
Lily wants to know, do you two hear angels speak?
Yes.
Angels come to me, I've found throughout my life in dreams. Like the being that was telling me about what dying was like when I used to be afraid to go to sleep because I don't know, I was just to be afraid to go to sleep. So the being that showed me that I know was an angel. Still questionable about the brown robed hooded people. Not sure who they were actually, but most of the time angels will come to me in dreams and I know it's them because they have a feeling. They feel a certain way to me. Like they give you that feeling of calm, right? And I'm not a big angel person. Like if you see me, you don't see me going around talking about angels or anything like that. But it's funny, they'll come to you anyway in your dream or whatever, and you don't be like, "Oh, angel!" You just be like, "Oh, hi, angel."
And they'll bring you messages other ways. Hey, Linda, we got Linda G in the house.
I guess that's basically the way that I'm most receptive, right, to them, and so I think they approach you the way that you're more receptive to being approached. So for me, like I said, in the dreams, I guess they have good success with dreams. So I tend to have messages from them in dreams. So yeah, like I haven't really explored them a lot.
I get messages through TV, watching TV. Thank you, Linda.
Thanks for the super chat, Linda. Return to you tenfold.
They will get a message to you any way that they can, so you may hear something out of context of a TV show. Angels and guides, I can feel a difference. It's almost like a higher vibration, that you feel with an angel. I channel a lot with Raphael, so I'm very tuned into Raphael's energy. I have a guide, Jeremiah, that I work with a lot, who's been with me my whole life. And then, there are lesser guides, that come and go and change. And
mine's just we just talk normal. Like my guys, I'm getting to a comfortable area where we talk like girlfriends, like regular people. They'll talk to me and be like, I'll be like, we're just sitting here watching TV. They be telling me stuff about people. I'll be like, I don't want to know these people business like this. Can I just watch the movie? Like that kind of thing. So I have mine's is chatty, just like me. So like we get along pretty great. People are like, aren't you tired? Like you just by yourself all the time. I'm like, if y'all only friggin' knew. You know what I mean? Like the stuff that be going on, the stuff that happens, it speeds me through life. Like I feel like my inner life is so rich. Like I don't even know how to explain it.
I have a question for you guys.
Okay.
Where's the most haunted place you've ever been?
I have a spectrum. Haunted as in most encounters, or haunted as in most
active, or
there's haunted as in historically people say most things have happened. Like there's a spectrum for me. I can say the most experiences is when I lived in Atlanta, and for some reason when I go to either DuPont Circle or when I go to Georgetown, it is like
very historic area with a lot of energy.
But in Charles, that's hard for me to answer because I'm like the freaking ghost whisperer. The magnet.
I can say this place,
and they will come to you when you're a medium. They come up to you, before they come up to your other friends and stuff.
I
will not go to the basement, y'all. I don't go to the basement of this building. I don't go down there, and the reason being is not that it just feels like a womb, and it feels like all the people are all of like it's like. I won't go down there. It's dense. Like, I don't know why. I will send my husband. I will use the chute. If I got to throw something down there, you can forget it. It's going to stay to my husband and get that because I don't. Like, it's like something about that. It pulses down there like a womb, like it's beating or like, I don't know. It's not scary in the fact that I'm scared I'm going to die when I go down there. And I'm not scared of what I'm going to see. I guess I'm scared of what I'm going to feel if I go down there, if that makes any type of sense. It just feels like a womb, like it's beating or something weird. And I'm just like, oh, that's freaky. No.
I'm a history buff, so I love going places that are historical, whether here or overseas. But I have to say, Gettysburg is one of the most haunted places I've been, where you can just, I mean, almost cut the air with a knife. It's so thick and heavy and palatable.
The upstairs of my aunt's house is like that. I mean, it is, anybody who walks upstairs, you see the action, and anybody who knows anything about spirit energy, for it to show up as an apparition, that is a lot of freaking energy for it to do that. And I will see multiple when I go upstairs. Like, I don't care if all the bathrooms in her downstairs are occupied. I will pee outside in a bush before I go upstairs in her house. And it's like this running joke now. She's like, you don't want it, because I named, like, I've gotten names for some of them because they're reoccurring. And one of them I named Abe Lincoln. She's like, go talk to your buddy Abe. I'm like, no, thank you.
And you can still connect, even if somebody's reincarnated, you can still connect to them on the other side of who they were in the most recent lifetime or whatever lifetime you're trying to connect to them in. You know, so if you're channeling somebody like Lincoln, who, well, I actually don't know that Lincoln's come back. But you can connect into energy of people, you know, that have already reincarnated somewhere. So that's always interesting.
I want to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, there's one question I do want to make sure I answer, because this person's asked it several times. What happens what is it when somebody is like tapping at the end of the bed when somebody's trying to sleep? I think it was Red Rose has asked this multiple times.
Can be multiple things. Can be just trying to get your attention, letting you know they're there. I know, like my grandfather, when he died at night, he was by my bed at midnight, and I saw him as clear as I'm seeing you right now by my bed. You know, in the dark, I could see him standing there saying goodbye to me. And the next morning, I started getting the phone calls that he had died the night before, and you know, they'll wake you up. You know, like, hey, I came to say goodbye. Usually it's, you know, if it's somebody you don't know, it may just be trying to get your attention. Like, hey, I'm here. I'm still in this house. You know,
that's why I ward my bedroom, because I don't want to see none of that. Do not. Do not mess with my sleep.
Yeah, you can just ask them, hey, you know, bother me in the daytime. Yeah, I'm trying to sleep now. If it's not menacing and means no harm, you know, they may just be visiting.
Yeah. Just be like, office hours is from 9 to 5. Yeah. I'm not gonna put my eyes on this office hours.
Kathleen, I am with you. The only place I have ever been even remotely slightly spooked was there was a particular ghost tour in New Orleans. I was like,
I haven't been on one, you guys. I'm nervous. You know how, like,
I love it.
When you're a medium and you go on ghost tours, because I've done a few myself, when you're a medium, you have stuff that'll show up on your camera that doesn't show up on the other people, the tours, and they all start looking like, hey, I don't have all that. They show up.
Things that happen to you that will not happen to anybody else in the group.
Yeah, Eastern State Penitentiary. I walk in there, my camera battery drains immediately. I travel, you know, I had multiple ones. I stick another lithium battery in, I turn it on immediately, thunk. And I said, all right, I get it. You're using my battery energy, you know, stop now. I can talk to you without you having to do all that. And then I put another battery in and it let me take photos. But I get like orbs and stuff that other people don't get. They show up for me.
My parents learned very early on to stop taking me to any plantation, any slave ship, anything, because I would always attract, and it would scare, which, by the way, both of my mom, I think she had some psychic ability. My dad 100% does. We call him Negrodonymous because that man's accuracy is like freakish, and they had to learn the hard way, like, we cannot take her because something always and they would leave scared, and I'm like, why are you scared? I'm the one it happened to, and you dragged me to this event. Like, come on. Like,
I was in England in a castle that also had it was built by Henry VIII, so, you know, built in Tudor times, but it also had artillery places for cannons and stuff that they used as recently as World War II, you know, because they were afraid the Germans were going to come across the English Channel. So it was very, very haunted. And there were people that were doing a guided tour that ended up following me around, who was walking around solo, because I'm like connecting to spirits, and they're like, who's over here? You know, it was kind of interesting because I was getting people all through the different, you know, centuries of people.
So fascinating. It's Shay, I encourage you to go on, whenever you feel comfortable, to go on a ghost tour.
You can't be doing stuff with certain people. I can't be around those scary people. You know what I mean? Like, I seriously, you know, consider it, because I want to go to New Orleans. I just got to. I just feel like I want to go there, and I don't know. Like I said, I've never went to somewhere where I'm like, oh, this place is known to be haunted, because I'm a believer in you get what you ask for. You know, you be asking for, you're gonna have experiences and encounters. And I don't know how I feel about, like, I don't like people. Really, I don't like people that much. You know what I mean? Like, I'm very much an introvert. I have extrovert moments, but then after I have an extrovert moment, then I gotta go cocoon and, you know, get all nice. So, like, for me, going to one of those places would be the equivalent of going to a place and meeting a whole bunch of people. I don't know, like, you know, strangers.
For me, because I'm such a history buff, like, I like to ask them, like, what was it like in the 1500s here? You know, and I like talking with them and getting some of the history, and then I'm like, you know, I'll sense, like, are they earthbound or are they just visiting? And if they're earthbound, then I'll end the discussion by saying, do you want to cross over? You know, are you ready to move on now?
I like history. I do. I want to go put my hands on places that people have been. Like, I love antique shops, thrift store. I love history and old stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why, but I know things are probably attached to them. You know what I'm saying? But I still love them anyway. I still watch the ghost shows where they tell me that's a bunch of bunk and it's just scaring the crap out of you. And it's never like that. Well, it's not the way they're portraying that story to be. You know, you just stop watching that crap. Like, that's
here's a prime example. Amityville Horror House. That house is not haunted. I'm going to tell you right now. I lived like half a mile from it when I lived in Long Island, and my pet sitter was good friends with the current owner of it. And she was like, that guy was deranged on drugs and made up all this stuff, you know, trying to get out of what he did when he was deranged on drugs. Mm-hmm. So that, you know, you see how many movies they've made about the Amityville Horror House. It's not haunted.
It's not. Oh, you know what's the scariest place to me? Old retirement homes, old folks homes, you know what I mean, like that. I used to work them at the night shift. Yeah. That's the scariest place to be at night. I rechange my whole entire statement to say I have never been scared. Like, I would kick doors open. Like, that place, like, those are the places, working night shift and nursing staff is scary. Scary. That's all.
I tell you, I get scared going to a haunted house at Halloween, but I don't know that I've ever gone in somewhere and felt scared.
Only New Orleans, and again, that was more of it's a little creepy.
It's a little nursing homes.
I won't mess with voodoo stuff when I see it on the sidewalks in New Orleans.
Yeah, I think that's because I was just like,
be like, mind your business. Mind your business. Just keep on walking.
Charleston, South Carolina is another great city that's very haunted. Beautiful city.
Charleston. I know Charleston like the back of my hand. I've been on every ghost tour there is in Charleston. I've got wild stories about Charleston. I want to end. We've got a couple more minutes. It's my show, so I'm going to end by being incredibly selfish.
This has been so much fun.
So thank you, ladies, for joining. I'm going to ask both of you, and I also want to open it up to the chat. I want some advice on something that I'm dealing with or going to potentially deal with. For those of you who do not know, I am working on a documentary about a mental institution in Maryland called Crownsville. Crownsville was built in the early 1900s as a place to house Black mentally insane. The issue with Crownsville was most of the patients were not mentally, had no mental issues at all. Crownsville was basically a way to take African Americans off the streets in Annapolis and put them in a place where they could not be seen or heard from again.
So did it open in post-Civil War?
It opened in 1910. and it was opened until 2004.
Okay.
So when you go to Crownsville, you physically feel you just feel it. That is, it's just intense.
Wow.
Part of my documentary, I'm very curious, should I cover part of the haunted history about Crownsville? And if so, how should that be done?
I'm going to throw cards on this.
Crownsville has a very, very deep history. It is very interesting. What should I do? Should I do a paranormal part to it, or what are your thoughts?
It's a part of the structure of the building itself. Here that you can illuminate, but you need cooperation from the spirits. So you need their permission, so to speak. Like, are you okay with me talking about, blah, 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 like as you're picking up on who's haunting. And also talking about illnesses that ran through there, like real illnesses like TB and stuff.
Or, how it predated the Tuskegee experiment with the syphilis that they purposely gave the patients. Yeah.
How a lot of moved on, to the other side because of that. Definitely like messages you get when you're there. I mean, there's a steady amount of spirit activity there. They're just saying just to be truthful and to protect yourself from any bullies that are there. So if you've got some earthbound spirits, make sure you protect yourself. And ask their permission. Like, was there a riot there at one time?
Multiple.
Okay. There's some energy about a riot, that there's some spirit energy around that, some that died in a riot there.
There's multiple riots, and there have been multiple deaths with the riots, so it's not like just one riot, and there's like since the beginning, basically. Yeah,
because I'm getting like riots and like being barricaded, like not being able to get out, and
yes,
multiple deaths, swift deaths. One spirit will. Oh, that's kind of funny. One spirit will talk to you about how he mixed alcohol there. So I feel like there was a little bootlegging going on, so to speak.
Yeah, that happened.
Yeah, I kind of feel like they're saying, so establish some sort of, if you do speak on it, establish some type of a deal with them. I don't know, like some kind of partnership or contract with them about something. And they're talking about, I don't know, somebody's talking about their family and their kids, like their family or children, or something about making a contract with them. And then they're talking about family and children, or ground yourself against sudden changes, whatever. So those are it's either that or the other, but basically the main thing was the partnership, strike a deal.
Have their blessing, so to speak.
Very interesting.
So post-COVID, I want to come there and go.
Because my next question was going to be, are you ladies going to come help me?
I would love to. And I want to go down to Waverly Hills Sanitarium. I've never been there, sanatorium. Yeah. I've never been there down in the border of Kentucky, Tennessee area.
Yeah. There's another one too, near Richmond that predates Crownsville, but it has a better history. And it's another built by this was built pre-Civil War, opened right after the Civil War, for slaves, because they thought slaves couldn't handle emancipation, but then it cleaned it and it got a better history. But Crownsville stayed very jacked up. And the one in Richmond is actually still being used today.
Wow.
So very interesting.
I'm down to come visit. I just don't want to go to the psychiatric places because for me, can you ever try to reason with crazy people? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, do they talk crazy? Do they come up to you and say crazy stuff, or?
It's a physical feeling. It's very suffocating. You take on I'm not gonna say it, but the schizophrenia and the panic.
Yeah.
If they did suffer from it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lily.
Thank you, Lily.
Eastern State Penitentiary, it's got a very heavy atmosphere. It's very kind of depressing and sad. And I tell you, one of the saddest wings was the women's ward there. And you never see it on the ghost hunting shows. They always stay in the men's wards. But there's a lot of sad activity in the women's ward there. Getting jailed for stealing a loaf of bread, that kind of stuff. Just trying to feed your family because your husband died.
Yeah.
It's very, very tragic energy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Karma. I've seen that documentary. I know every word, every soundbite, and I've actually personally spoken to a couple of them have passed on because it's a little bit older than it came out in 2018, but it was filmed a lot earlier. I've interviewed most of the people in that documentary now. They've got some stories about Crownsville that you're like, wow.
Wow.
Very.
We started this video with an amazing orb show. So anybody that came in later, make sure you go back and watch the beginning of this video. Because that was crazy. It was fun.
Speaking of, it's actually right after when Shay started talking, Dinka talked to me. He says, I have a message I have to give to everyone. His message is that there's a lot of energy going around right now. I think he is also answering the question that Johnny and I tried to answer Saturday, which is why is a lot of people are having issues with sleep right now and just feeling a lot of extra. He said he confirmed there is a lot of energy. He came into right now in this space to run an interference for any negative energy that may try to come and hang out. His advice to everyone, if you're willing to do it, is when you are feeling a lot of energy, when you're feeling overwhelmed, or if you just need an extra sense of protection, call on your ancestral guides. They call on the people who know you. Your ancestors and guides know you, and they love you in ways that, yes, you've got your Archangel Michaels, their soul contract is here to protect, but call on your ancestral guides and actually ask them to run interference for you.
Yep, they will do that. They want to help. Yep. They love to help, but not just with if you're having trouble with spirits. They want to help with anything they can from the other side a lot of times.
Anything. So that was his. I told them, stop. My ear hurts. What else? I know that's it. You're welcome. Thank you. You're welcome. Okay. He wanted me to say that. Okay. Shay, Jen, any closing thoughts? Anything from you guys? And by the way, Desiree, thank you so much for the super chat. May that generosity be returned to you tenfold. Okay. Shay, then Jen, any closing thoughts? Any closing advice you want to give?
Yeah, I just want to say that you are not losing your mind, that you can make the decision. You have the free will whether or not you wish to operate in your gifts, or if you don't. Set up your boundaries, be clear of what you're willing to accept right now, whether it be, okay, you have permission to use my ear, or, you have my permission for this, but you don't have my permission for that. And getting into a thing of shielding and protecting, I think that's one of the very first beginning things that you can do to kind of settle your world down some, quiet it down some, so you can get a breather and try to make sense of what's what.
I have to answer a question that just came up in the chat. Is the psychic that passes away still a psychic on the other side? Well, we're all psychic, but I have to say this. I have had Sylvia Brown come into personal readings because I read for a lady who was personal friends with her. And I'm like, why is Sylvia Brown here? And I just had this sense like there's this psychic energy coming through. And then the psychic I saw when I was 19, who was quite incredible. Thank you, Marie. I ask him to help me from the other side when I'm struggling with something, when I'm like not getting a message clear. I will call on him to help me from the other side. So a psychic on the other side can help you sometimes. My advice is carry intention that you will not be messed with. If you're fearful and you've got spirit activity going on, in your home, get someone in who's not, because they will feed off of fear. But you can try asking them, because 9 times out of 10, they are not malevolent spirits. You could just ask them, can you settle down a little bit? You're scaring me. But just carry that intention around that they can't mess with you.
It's a boundary, like you said.
A lot of times it's your departed loved ones just trying to say hello, trying to get your attention.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't do what I had a very old teacher years ago tell us, is that like attracts like. That's not true. It's about the intention that you said, which is the boundaries you're putting up.
I feel like they feed off of other emotions too, like anger. Like if there's a lot of anger or depression, I found myself like I've always had to sometimes have to question my own feelings to find out if I'm taking on someone else's situation or not, because I'll have behaviors that's not characteristic of me. So the people in my immediate space who know me can be like, ooh, girl, that kind of thing. So I think that also that's why balancing your chakras and balancing everything is so important. Because I'm just like, you know what, y'all gonna be on a diet up in here. We're not trying to feed none of the trolls.
Well, EMF fields can make you feel paranoid and feel like something's going on when it isn't. So have your EMFs checked, in your home. Old plumbing and wiring can cause EMF,
Get EMF. Go to Amazon.com. Put in EMF blockers. You'll thank me later.
Thank you, Minuet.
I was going to say, I think it's Minute Mama Maya.
Minuet Maya.
Something was like, I don't know how this. I'm going to butcher that. Ladies, I just need to thank you both so much for joining tonight and for all of the stories and the education that you have provided. You are both beautiful, beautiful healers and gems, and thank you for being the wonderful light workers that you both are.
Well,
thank you so much for inviting me. It was so much fun.
Yeah,
I could talk ghosts all day long.
Absolutely, same here. Guys, thank you so much to all 300 and I think we had 350 at one point.
We're gonna go ghost hunting together sometime and do a live stream ghost hunting.
Live stream.
Watch Shay pee herself.
That's okay. Susan says she's like, y'all, I'm scared.
I will have on the adult diaper. You're with my
like, what's that?
Shay
peed herself again.
Don't mind me. I'm just urinating.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you to all the super chatters. Thank you for, again, may that generosity, that blessing be returned to you tenfold. Thank you to the moderators. You guys are freaking cat snatching awesome. I may do a part 4 just because I love this so very much. I love helping and teaching you guys about spirit energy. So if you guys want another one, just thumbs up or let me know, shoot me a message, and we will go from there. But until the next time, wait.
I feel a part 4, 5, 6.
Jen, you have a charity stream, right?
Friday night. Friday night, what time? I can't remember. 8 Eastern, 7 Central for Humane Society International. We will be joined by Autumn from Black and Orange, Ona from Ona's Tarot, and Lori from The Way of Positive Change. Okay. And that'll be on my channel.
Yep, I put that information, guys, in the description, so please make sure you do that. Okay, point.
All you pet lovers, come and help us out with Humane Society International.
Wait, how do I point in the opposite? Okay, I did it earlier. Go join Shay from Blissful Divination, darn it. Go join her channel, please and thank you.
I'm still doing it too. There you go.
Freaking frack. Until next time, bye, guys.
Bye.